Self and behavior according to Gilbert Ryle. So, I have a friend who's in a new relationship. A bit to my annoyance, she says things like, "Oh, we're so perfect for each other, you can read my mind." Despite this gooey proclamation of compatibility and perfection, Gilbert Ryle will tell her she's mistaken. However, before we burst my friend's bubble by dividing into Ryle's theories on self and behavior, let's introduce the man. This video is about Gilbert Ryle that will be discussed by
I am Carl Allen P. Narciso.
Joy Sansevilla and Timothy De Guzman. So let's start with our first question, which is, who is Gilbert Ryle? Let me introduce to you Gilbert Ryle. Gilbert Ryle was born in Brighton, Sussex, England on August 19, 1900s. One of the 10 children, he came from a prosperous family and enjoyed a liberal and stimulating childhood and adolescence. His father was a general practitioner but had keen interest in philosophy and astronomy that he passed on to his children an impressive library where Ryle enjoyed being an omnivorous reader. He died on October 6, 1976 at Whitby in Yorkshire after walking in the moors. Philosophy radiated his own life. He is reputed to have said that the only completed portrait of him made him look like a drawn German general. Anyway, he is widely known for his critique of Cartesian dualism, for which he coined the phrase "goes in the machine."
Hey, it's Carl Allen. Probably the biggest Gilbert question I get asked is this: what is Ryle's philosophical stand of mind? Some of his books are The Concept of Mind, Dilemmas, Latest Progress, and Critical Essays. Gilbert Ryle was a famous 20th century ordinary language in philosophy. His field, ordinary language philosophy, asserts that problems and false assumptions develop as we distort meaning of words. For example, look at the distortion we inflict on the word literally. We say things like, "I'm literally so hungry, I could eat a horse." Of course, this is not literal at all. However, if an English-speaking alien happened to beam down and hear it, it would definitely give him false assumption about our stomachs. In fact, Ryle's believed that our constant use of the word mind has caused us to believe that minds exist. Taking this a step further, this erroneous assumption has led to the concept of that there is a mysterious entity called the mind that controls the mechanical workings of the body. Not mincing words, Ryle named this misconception the "goes in the machine" idea. In other words, he believes the mind fallacy is as ridiculous as saying machines are controlled by ghosts. While many philosophers supported the statement of Descartes, "I think therefore I am," Gilbert Ryle on the other hand criticized it and essentially stated, "I act, therefore I am." In René Descartes' statement, he is a firm believer of separation or distinction of the mind and body, which Gilbert Ryle disagrees because he thinks that mental processes are intelligent acts. Our behaviors and deeds are what give us feeling of self, according to Ryle, who dismantles the dichotomy between the mind and the body. He believes that actions determine the self. He is a firm believer of how you act and how your actions are depicts what you are or what your self is, and who you are as a person. In other words, we are all really a collection of actions. Therefore, if someone considers you lovely, it is because you behave well. If someone believes that you are intelligent, it is because you behave intelligently. He believes that those who believe the mind exists independently from body make a category mistake, which is a logical fallacy in which one category of something is presented as belonging to a different category. He argued that the mind does both exist and hence cannot be the seat of self. In other words, our sense of self is not derived from the mind or the body, but rather than from our behavior in our daily activities.
Let's now discuss a brief history about Gilbert Ryle. Gilbert Ryle is a son of a prosperous doctor. He was educated at Brighton College and then entered Queen's College, Oxford, where he took his first two subjects, classical honor moderations and School of Philosophy, Politics, and Economics. He was also captain of Queen's College Boating Club. As a result of his brilliant academic work, Ryle was appointed lecturer in 1924 and a year later tutor in philosophy, both appointments at Christ Church, Oxford. In 1940, he was commissioned in the Welsh Guards, serving for the duration of World War II and ending his military career as a major. Ryle returned to Oxford to become Waynflete Professor of Metaphysical Philosophy, a post he held from 1945 to 1968. In 1947, he inherited from G.E. Moore the editorship of Mind, the most influential journal of English philosophy. In his major work, The Concept of Mind on 1949, Ryle mounted a devastating attack on Cartesian dualism, and in particular on the view of mind as a separate substance apart from the body. He caricatured this view as the myth of the ghost in the machine proposed by Descartes. Ryle's own view on mental reality is that it consists of dispositions to behave in certain ways. He tried to show that mental concepts do not refer to private, unwitnessable events, maintaining against critics that his view was not identical with behaviorism. Early in his philosophical career, Ryle decided that the task of philosophy was the detection of the sources in linguistic idioms of recurrent misconceptions and absurd theories. In his Tanner lectures published as Dilemmas, last 1954, he showed how certain philosophical impasses could be dissolved by a clearer understanding of the concepts employed by the apparently contradictory views.
Error in philosophical stand. First, let's know what his stand. He believes that the mind and the body work together, but according to a behaviorist, believe that psychology should only be concerned with observable action, namely stimulus and response. They believe that thought processes such as the mind cannot be studied scientifically, objectively, and should be therefore ignored. Radical behaviorists believe that the mind does not even exist. So, by the biologists who argue that the mind does not exist because there is no physical structure called the mind. Also, follow this approach. Biologists agree that the brain will ultimately be found to be the mind. The brain with its structure, cells, and neural connection will, with scientific research, eventually identify the mind. So since both behaviorists and biologists believe that the only type of reality exists those that we can see, feel, and touch, their approach is the monism, is the belief that the mind and the brain are the same thing. The biological and behavioral approaches believe in the materialism monism.